Let's bring in the Labor MP, member for Hawke's, Sam Ray, and Liberal MP, member for Casey, Aaron Violi. Aaron, do you think the opposition leader made the right call in shelving the work from home requirement for the public service, given the way it was being received?
Yeah, well, Peter showed great courage as a leader to admit and he said it himself this morning, he made a mistake, and that takes courage, and that's what we've done. There was obviously a Labor scare campaign that was conflating the work from home in the public service with the private sector, and obviously governments have no role in the private sector, but Peter's put his hand up. And I mean, I think that stands in stark contrast because we are in an election between the two leaders. And last campaign, Anthony Albanese promised 97 times that he would reduce power bills by $275. But this is the important comparison, Kieran. Once Russia invaded Ukraine, he made that commitment 30 times. After the election, he started using the invasion of why he couldn't honour his $275 promise. So Peter has taken the tough and courageous decision to put his hand up. Will always act in the best interest of the Australian people. Perfection doesn't exist, but unlike this Prime Minister, we'll be honest and upfront with the Australian people.
Who obviously was coming up on the doors, I know, talking to various Liberal and Labor people, that this was showing up. Sam Ray, the fact that it's been neutralised now means that you're back to square one, don't you? Doesn't it, when it comes to cost of living and the main game in this election, and that's where people are hurting around the kitchen table in terms of their budgets?
Kieran, I'm out door knocking in my community every single day. I've got my formal flanny for door knocking on, as you can see. And the conversations that I'm having with people are just as you'd expect, that they're relentlessly focused on the cost of living. They recognise that the Prime Minister and the Labor government have had a laser-like focus on cost of living over this term of government. And they know that that's been a hard slog, and the people across Australia have been the ones that have carried us through that. We're now turned around the inflation challenge. We've got wages growing again, and we're seeing record low unemployment. In terms of the risk that Peter Dutton presents, that is also very, very clear for people. We've seen today yet another policy cul-de-sac that the Liberal Party have run themselves into. They're putting our economy at risk, and they're putting people's household budgets at risk. In this case, they wanted to threaten people's employment. They wanted to threaten our economy. And it's extraordinary that Aaron, who I do have high regard for, comes on here, takes the first question from you and tries to blame the Labor government for Peter Dutton's terrible policy judgment and ultimately for putting Australia's economy at risk with this ridiculous policy.
Well, we can get Aaron's response to that in a moment. I want to play you, though, beforehand, Aaron, this ad from the Liberal Party, which is really in your home state, gents. It's targeting the weakness of the state government.
Albo and Allen are double trouble. Labor's budget shows 10 years of deficits. Victoria has the worst debt of any state, and crime is at an all-time high. We can't afford 3 more years of Labor.
Yeah, Aaron, if you're going to be competitive and get into that sort of area of possibly forming government, it's got to be some major gains where Labor is well and truly on the nose now at the state level in your state.
Well, absolutely, Kieran. We're seeing that Anthony Albanese and Jacinta Allen, who are good friends, and Daniel Andrews, a great friend and involved in Anthony Albanese's campaign. The Victorian public have seen the deficit, the challenges that we face in Victoria because of state Labor, and they've seen after 3 years of federal Labor how bad it is and how much worse it's going to get. And like Sam, I've been out on door knocking, talking to community at listening posts, and the Australian people are struggling. They know we need answers now. They're looking for 25 cents a litre off their petrol from the 1st of July, particularly in communities like mine. I know in Hawke there's a lot of commuters that drive, and they're looking forward to that savings, not 70 cents a day in 15 months' time. Victorians have seen how bad state Labor is. They know they can't afford another 3 years of the Albanese Labor government at a federal level, and we'll continue to prosecute that case while putting forward our policies that are positive around the fuel excise. The gas reserve has been well received, immediate relief to bring prices down in the electricity system, but looking at the source. As I've talked about very often here, Kieran, this government talks about the symptoms, but they can't actually get to the root cause. More gas, more supply into the system will sustainably bring electricity prices down for communities, for businesses, for families and all residents across Victoria and across the eastern seaboard.
Sam Ray, I'm very much looking forward to the first debate tomorrow night. It's in Western Sydney. Obviously, they say all politics is local, but right now, Sam, we're feeling the ramifications of decisions made in Washington, and the markets are all over the place. Huge uncertainty. How do you see that playing into this campaign and ahead of the first debate tomorrow night? Do you think the volatility, the uncertainty created by the Trump tariffs will be raised by everyday voters?
Kieran, over the last 3 years, we've been very focused on taking a responsible approach to prosecuting Australia's national interest in terms of our world diplomacy and our relationships with other countries. The relationship with the United States is a very strong relationship, a very long-standing relationship. But let's be very clear, while these tariffs are not a terrible surprise to Australians, they are entirely unwarranted. President Trump has spoken about tariffs flying back and forth. And let's be very clear, Australia has no tariffs against the United States. But again, I think we have to focus on being a responsible government. We have to take a steady head to these challenges. And Peter Dutton and the previous Liberal government under Scott Morrison were all about chest beating. They damaged our international relationships. They put at risk our economy. I give a big shout out to Don Farrell, the Trade Minister, who has spent most of the last 3 years restoring our trade relationships internationally. And again, I think Australians are very worried that Peter Dutton and the Liberal Party will take to our trade relationships, take to our important international relationships with the same sledgehammer approach that they did last time and put Australian jobs and Australian prosperity at risk.
Aaron Violi, we're almost out of time, but as I say, that first debate tomorrow night, important for Peter Dutton to try and generate a bit of momentum.
Well, obviously those debates are important. Congratulations to you, Kieran, for hosting it. But I'd ask you viewers to play a bit of bingo. Let's see every time that the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, mentions Peter Dutton, and as Sam did there, talks about the opposition. And the reason that the Prime Minister will talk about Peter Dutton a lot tomorrow night is that he knows, and we all know, that there's no Australian that's better off. This government has no positive achievements to campaign on, and that's why they've got to resort to throwing the mud and the negatives. That is the only thing upholding the Anthony Albanese's campaign at the moment.
Aaron Violi, Sam Ray, gents, thank you, and make sure you watch tomorrow night the must-watch television event of the campaign, 100 undecided voters to grill Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton.
Authorised by Aaron Violi, Liberal Party, Lilydale.